everyone. Good afternoon almost, I think it is.
Yeah,
we're
just
getting
about.
close there.
Getting close.
But we're here for another Realtor Spotlight, and we are joined today by Keith McGurk, and he is with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and so we're going to get to know him a little bit and this beautiful setting here, because amenities are always best, so we're going to touch on that, the community that we're in a little while. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to just get to know your story a little bit, and kind of, I know you moved down here from up north, and kind of what has the whole real estate for you?
Very unique to the Myrtle Beach area. I moved here from New York, so right away
like nobody else here.
There is nobody else here that has that story. But no, I'm from Farmington, Long Island. My wife and I sold our house in North Massapequa back in 2018 and relocated down here to the beach. I'm a retired New York City police officer. I did.
So none of those here either.
Yeah, none of those. I'm really like, I don't fit in anywhere. So I did 11 years with the NYPD. I'd still be doing it. My 20 wouldn't expire for another 5 years. I think about that all the time. I do miss, I miss the clowns, not the circus, as they say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I got hurt back in 2015, and while I was home and kind of working a desk job with the department, knowing that my career was going to come to an end, I looked around at my family, my wife, 3 kids, and I had an older daughter, older daughter, and I thought to myself, being a cop was great, don't get me wrong, but there were days I'd leave 4 to 12 on Tuesday, and I wouldn't come home till Thursday, Friday, it's just the nature of the business, and I loved it, but it was definitely a strain on my family.
Yeah.
So I decided to take like a really easy job, something that doesn't require a lot of time, doesn't require a lot of effort.
Home all the time.
You're home all the time. Make your own schedule. Nobody dictates to you. So I went into real estate. I'd say all the time it was easier being a cop.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, there were easier days on a foot post in Brownsville, Brooklyn than brokering a deal. So I got into real estate in New York. I was a Long Island realtor with Century 21.
Okay.
And did that from April of 2016. Actually closed the last deal, New York deal, in February of 18. We had already been down here for a month. And I just continued and kind of rolled the ball right over to Myrtle Beach real estate and been doing it ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I can understand. It was like, it's so funny. It was like, I've only been in the industry, I guess you'd say, for a year now, a little bit over a year. And I had those misconceptions of realtors have it so easy. I would love that, and there are some, but they're not the ones that are, they making money and really, making things happen and doing it. So, trying to provide for a family, you need to be out there, usually
absolutely.
whenever all the families are home, because it's when your clients have time to see homes, and then, your deals, you're kind of working them whenever you come through and you can get all the pieces together. So it's like late nights and all of that.
Yeah, it's funny. I just got done. I was watching a webinar. There's a RE/MAX agent down in Mississippi, Quintavious Burdett, and he talks about having like the most free time as ever. And I'm like, well, that's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my goal. But I don't have a lot to complain about. I'm still Little League coach for all 3 of my boys.
Awesome.
We're on the baseball field every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 5:30 until whenever. I play softball with a couple of guys on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't have.
You can still set, move things around, but just you have the understanding, and like, all right, I'm going to work until here. Do this time is blocked out, and then if I need to do some paperwork, write some contracts, all that kind of stuff. After bedtime, all of that, which is great.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. So what is one thing that you really love about real estate? I mean, obviously, long hours can get you, but like you can have your own schedule, but anything else kind of really just...
You get out of real estate what you put into it.
Right.
For so many years in the police department, I was told stand in a square this size, for 8 hours, and I had no control over that, So for me to come from that mentality and go into a place where I really, truly dictate my own success,
right.
That was a freedom all to itself.
Yeah, which is great, because the harder you work, the more you make, the more rewards you see, and the more families you have.
Yeah.
If you want to take a vacation, you do, and you kind of work it through and can do all of that. But right, it was like, no matter how hard you work on the fort, you're going to come home with that same paycheck for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, as a cop, when I needed to make some overtime, you work a little harder, and there were plenty of bad guys to put in jail where I worked, and that equated to overtime. in real estate, sometimes the harder you work, it doesn't necessarily equate to more dollars in the bank account right away. Real estate for me is a process game. You know, it's the more I do today, the better a tomorrow I'll have. It doesn't equate to today.
Right.
You know, and that's 15% of the people in this business do 85% of the work. And I think one of the biggest pitfalls is that people come into this business and they do a whole ton of work, get no results from it.
And they stop.
And that's it. I mean, it eats up a lot of your assets, it eats up a lot of your time. So it's about having that staying power.
Yeah, I understand that one for sure. All right, so I know you work with a lot of clients, both buying and selling. You know, what are some of the things you're hearing right now? We talked a little bit before about no time. Everyone's like, oh, great time in real estate, like sell your house, move, all that kind of stuff, or buy a home, right? Like, how do you know it's your time to do it?
It's personal.
Right.
You know, it's very, very personal. I had a client, for example, I had a client in town just a couple weeks ago that was looking in the Conway area. There's nothing on the if it's any good and it's priced right, it's gone. So literally, you know, this was the type of client, and there's many of them out there, that they couldn't do a video walkthrough before they got there. They had to have their feet on the ground and physically see it themselves. And I said, okay, look, that's going to come with its own pitfalls. We're going to miss out on some stuff, which we did. So what I had to try to do was cultivate stuff that was not listed. And I had a couple of conversations. I had a lot of conversations. And I had 5 prospected sellers for these buyers. And when it came time, none of them wanted to show me the house for them. It wasn't their time. They didn't know where to go.
Right. Oh yeah.
So my wife and I just sold our house farm, and we're residents now in what's going to be our community here in Berkshire Forest. And what we are paying for our new build, I sold the same house last year for $100,000 less.
Right.
That's the market we're in. And so a lot of sellers are wondering, well, where am I going to go?
Right.
So is it the right time for them to do that? You know, yeah, the most money for your house, but
Trade.
available.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are, but I was like, if you are renting right now, this is not your time. I was like, because if it flips a little bit and the prices of homes come down a little bit, if you're not in a time you need to sell to buy,
Right.
and you're just trading equity for dollars in that manner. Because we were in that same boat. Like we knew we paid a little bit more for our house than we would have in any other part of the year, but we had the equity in our home to be able to get there. So if you can do that and trade up. But yeah, I heard a lot of it lately. It's just scary because you know how fast you're going to sell. So if you can't line something up beforehand, so securing, lending without, and the contingency of selling my home is not always an attractive buyer. So, I mean, people are really in.
Yeah, a lot of these builders don't even accept those contingencies anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the way we used to structure a deal a year ago with a contingency of a home to sell, you go into a D.R. Horton or a Berkshire, a Pulte build, sorry, accepting that contingency.
Exactly.
There's just that much demand. And I think another thing that comes into is it the right time is why are you making the move?
Right.
I was shocked. I come from an area in Long Island where you bought a house and you stayed in it for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, it was you were buying in a specific school district in a specific town, and you were there for 20, 30 years. You were living out your mortgage. That is not the way it is here at the beach. It's incredible. They come down, they buy in an area, and 6 months to a year later, they're calling up their realtors. Hey, what do you get for my house? Like this neighborhood's amenities better than my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So in a few years, again, it might not be the right time for you.
Right.
Like for my wife and I, this is our forever home. We have 3 young children and a daughter in college. So this is it.
Yes.
And so like I said to my wife, as long as that big number fit into that monthly budget number,
Yes, exactly.
that's the only thing that mattered to us. I know you look at the big number and it's daunting and it's intimidating, and from a mortgage standpoint, if it fits the budget and the low rates at you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's our forever home. Say that, but we before. But neighborhood that was the design, for us. We talked. We'll kind of take a look around because Berkshire has really done some amazing things to the. I lived time and the amenities in this neighborhood, it's particularly like the pool and the zero, walk.
Yep.
Spending all the time. I don't like to have my young children have to constantly. So having an area where, and I think they've have more opportunity to enjoy themselves, draw.
Absolutely. And I was sharing with you earlier, my family have been property owners here in Berkshire Forest since back in 2006. 15 years ago, this was a different Myrtle Beach.
Oh my goodness, yes.
The fact that we're talking about splash pads and zero entry in pools as being things that builders are thinking about is showing that the landscape of Myrtle Beach is changing.
Yes.
It's no longer the recovery market. Families like you and I
Yes.
relocated from town with our young children, and it's more affordable to live here. The schools have started to rise up to the occasion, and so you're starting to see it in the neighborhoods too.
Well, and I think a lot of the people also is like you had retirees, then you had a lot of people that came down here to live over the summer and never left
Yep.
because the hospitality industry, and those people like myself, secure a mate for life. Are starting to have kids through. You can see in our school and everything like that.
Yeah.
To be able to have a school in your neighborhood essentially, or one that you can have. I always felt like that. I was like coming from up north. Everyone is in the private schools and in different things like that. And down here, you don't have as much of that, so you
Right.
have to kind of trust the public school system, which is great. But to be able to live in a community where you can kind of have a thumb on the pulse of school and know that kind of is a lot more comfort.
It is.
As a parent.
I agree.
Which is amazing. All right, so any advice that you want to give to people looking to buy or sell?
The biggest thing I can tell you, it's in every headline. Lumber costs are through the roof.
Oh, yes.
People are getting thousands upon thousands of dollars over asking. Don't get caught up in the hype. At the end of the day, a $500,000 house or a $200,000 house, it's very rare that we never see somebody show up to the closing with a briefcase,
Yeah.
but that's frowned upon. But paying cash for a home, this is the single largest investment of usually any person's lifetime.
Right.
We expect them to use a lender, and so don't be concerned with the big price. And look, here in Berkshire is a perfect example. As a realtor that represents buyers in this neighborhood all the time, I don't get paid commission on the sale of the house. So I'm not going to tell you, go get the base model and deck it out because it's going to be my commission. It's got nothing to do with that. So I'm telling you for your benefit, don't be concerned with the number.
Yeah.
If the granite countertops and the LED flooring and the fireplace and the patio, it fits into that monthly number, do it. Because I'm telling you, a year from now, you're going to call me up and you're going to say, what can I get for my house? Because I want the fireplace, the granite countertops, and the extra patio.
I didn't do because I was just scared of that bigger price range, and then
Yep.
But you're right. Monthly. If you can fit into your monthly bills, is the best way to go.
That's it. That's my biggest piece of advice, especially in an escalating market like this. People can really. I've seen it. I've talked to buyers and sellers. They've shuddered at the thought of paying too much for a house.
Oh yeah.
Look, if it fits in the budget, it's not.
No.
It's your house.
And the way the interest rates are right now, you could easily get that because home prices can come down, interest rates will go up. Yes. It's going to be a wash, and your monthly payments are going to be the same. So, if you want to get into that perfect home that you've seen now. Right?
And the good thing about it is after you close on that loan, the interest and the price you paid for that home is never what goes up. Mm-hmm. Your taxes will, right. But we could talk about Myrtle Beach taxes forever.
We're not going to get into that today.
You want to compare to New York? We'll have at it. Exactly. We win every day. We are winning that war. That's your interest rate's not going up. So take advantage of them while they're here because this is your forte more than mine. They're not here for long.
Yeah. Well, I know that I want to touch on this real quick. I know we're wrapping up, but we have seen this before, and I'm sure the builders are going to hear this. But there's a lot of the builders like Pulte and Lennar and all the B's are the ones that are around here. And when you go into them, like I did in the past, you go in and they give you all right, well here's financing, here's this, and it's all kind of one-stop shop. You can ask, and I don't know if you've kind of dealt with this. We have been able to secure either better interest rates or better terms, that kind of stuff, for someone that's building in that you do have some options. You do.
We're an example.
Okay.
So here in Berkshire Forest, Pulte, they do a fantastic job.
Yes.
The sales team here is great. I've into the loan officers with Pulte Mortgage, the Pulte Home Insurance. I mean, it stretches that far. That's
Right. Oh, yeah.
how involved they are. But I'll be honest, and there's an incentive as a buyer to use that umbrella.
Right.
There's a $7,500 incentive right now, and there are not many incentives being given.
No.
I'm still shocked because the mortgage rates are sometimes better than that $7,500 incentive. That one time, that if I have to use that whole $7,500 to buy down the rate to what I might get even a little bit better from Revolution Mortgage, I'm going to go with them.
Well, yeah, right. Because then over the lifetime of your loan, you're saving yourself a lot more money.
A lot more money.
So
Yep.
glad we kind of touched on that, because that's something that a lot of people, say. It's like, oh, well, I'm going with them, and this is the only option I have. And no, you don't. Like, you can look around. They're going to still accept your offer. On that home, you can still build that home working with an outside lender.
Absolutely, and it's the same conversation as realtors. When we get buyers all the time that come down for the weekend, and I've been talking to them for months, over a year, and I come to find out, yeah, we went to Berkshire Forest neighborhood. We met with Graham contract. Well, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you at that point. Right. I could have helped to negotiate that deal. I could have helped to open up your options, meet up with Revolution Mortgage and get maybe a better interest rate. As a buyer agent, the builders agents want to work with us because we have more buyers than they can ever dream of having. So they want to work with us, and it's not a bad conversation. It always works out in the buyer's favor.
So just like we said, get an agent to represent you, even if you're going into a home
new construction. Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. You have options. You have options on your real estate agent that can help you. You have options on your mortgage loan. I mean, this is all options. You don't need to ever feel like, and I got that feeling at one point when we were building a home. It was, in a home like this, and it was, these are your options. We weren't shown all of the options for the home because he thought that he thought he knew what we wanted because he knew our price level.
Yeah.
And so he didn't even offer certain options. But I was like, well, I might have wanted one of those options over something else. So if you have an agent that knows what they're doing, to go in there and be like, no, I want to see my client, show them everything. Let's give them we'll work together to work through it all. So it gives you a better sense of, that you're getting what you deserve.
Absolutely.
Someone representing you.
As a consumer in this market, if you were working with an agent that was only listings, it wouldn't make it great. Right. So you always have your representation. It doesn't cost you a dime as a buyer, and it, like I said, it always works to your benefit.
Yeah, sure. All right, so we talked about amenities. You want to show them?
Oh,
so
wait till you see this.
If you are looking for a home, Shire in here, you can call Keith, and he can help you work through. There's definitely a lot of homes to be built here. So you can
my neighbor.
Yes, exactly. And you can see, when I lived here, it was this beautiful pool and amenity center. Now they have a whole nother section to this. So we'll walk you guys around and show you.
Yeah. And they're actually building another pool on the other side of the neighborhood over by where the elementary school is.
Yeah.
So we've turned this into a zero entry here. And right behind it is still the gorgeous 32-acre Silver Lake. You can take a kayak, an electric motored boat out there. You can do some fishing. It's a great time, a great place to enjoy the day.
For sure.
But you got to check this out. Check out this splash pad. So we're buying stock and sunscreen because we have 3 young Irish boys, and between my freckles and their freckles, we got to make sure that nobody gets too sunburned because we're going to spend hours here this summer.
So you can see there's a nice playground over here, but then this is something that they put in at April 1st, I believe. So very cool.
And
not
even
just for kids, right?
Not just.
It's like you see the bus that they drop. So much fun to run over here. Got the shoes all around. It's definitely style for sure.
Yeah. Where You do have to bring lazy, just something that.
Understood. The amenities that everybody are looking for.
Yeah, this is great.
I was gonna end up getting me right here on camera. All right, perfect. All right, so you guys have seen this beautiful Berkshire forest here. Give Keith a call, not just for Berkshire, for all of Myrtle Beach. You represent
All
buyers.
over.
You guys have options, and he is one that's going to get you everything that you deserve. How to contact you?
My cell phone number is 843-655-1666. You can see me on my website, KM, my initials, kmbeachlife.com. And that's pretty much it. You can find me on Facebook, kmbeachlife / and on Tells the Beach.
Well, perfect. And we'll link to other light Keith McGurk. Remax up.
Take care, everybody.